Good morning, TK. Today we are reading It Could Always Be Worse, written and illustrated by Margot, Zemach. Raise a quiet hand if your mom's name is Margot. Yep, Oliver. Everyone say hi, Oliver, and welcome to his new baby sister, Mabel. Can't wait to meet you. All right, this book is called It Could Always Be Worse, and I thought it would be perfect for right now, because if you're feeling a little crabby being at home, just remember, it could always be worse. The author writes the book. The author writes the book. The illustrator draws the picture. The author writes the book. This says It Could Always Be Worse, a Yiddish folktale retold with pictures by Margot Zemach. So this is an old folktale, which means they've been telling it for years and years, and it's Yiddish, which means that my ancestors, who are Jewish and from Poland, are some of the people who used to tell this story. Dedicated to my friend Gina, with love. Once upon a time, in a small village, a poor and fortunate man lived with his mother, his wife, and his 6 children in a little one-room hut. So if there's a man, a mother, a wife, and 6 children, that's 6, 7, 8, 9 people in a one-room hut. Can you show me 9 on your fingers? Nice job. Because they were so crowded, the man and his wife often argued. Arguing means they fought a lot. The children were noisy and they fought. In winter, when the nights were long and the days were cold, life was especially hard. The hut was full of crying and quarreling. Quarreling is arguing. One day, when the poor unfortunate man couldn't stand it anymore, he ran to the rabbi for advice. So the rabbi is the person in their community who they ask for good advice from. "Holy Rabbi," he cried, "things are in a bad way with me, and getting worse. We are so poor that my mother, my wife, my 6 children, and I all live together in one small hut. We're too crowded and there's so much noise. Help me, Rabbi. I'll do whatever you say." The rabbi thought and pulled on his beard. At last he said, "Tell me, my poor man, do you have any animals? Perhaps a chicken or 2? "Yes," said the man. "I do have a few chickens, and also a rooster and a goose." "Ah, fine," said the rabbi. "Now go home and take the chickens, the rooster, and the goose into your hut to live with you." "Yes, indeed, Rabbi," said the man, though he was a bit surprised. So if there are 9 people, then they're adding 2 chickens, a rooster, and a goose. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 living beings in one hut. The poor unfortunate man hurried home and took the chickens, the rooster, and the goose out of the shed and into his little hut. When some days or a week had gone by, life in the hut was worse than before. Can you imagine having 9 people and 4 animals all stuck in one room? That's more crowded than your apartments, probably. Now, with the quarreling and crying, there was honking, crowing, and clucking. There were feathers in the soup, and the hut stayed just as small, and the children grew bigger. When the poor unfortunate man couldn't stand it any longer, he again ran to the rabbi for help. Look at what chaos it is. I wonder if your houses look like that right now. "Holy Rabbi," he cried, "see what a misfortune has befallen me. Now with the crying and the quarreling, with the honking, the clucking, and the crowing, there are feathers in the soup. Rabbi, it couldn't be worse. Help me, please." Now, TK, if you want to pause this video, now might be a good time to show your families your chicken dance. It's on theme. The rabbi listened and thought. At last he said, "Tell me, do you happen to have a goat?" "Oh, yes, I have an old goat, but he's not worth much." "Excellent," said the rabbi. Now go home and take the old goat into your hut to live with you." "Oh, no, do you really mean it, Rabbi?" cried the man. Come now, my good man, and do as I say at once," said the rabbi. Well, the poor unfortunate man tramped back home with his head hanging down and took the old goat into his hut. So now we have 9 people and 5 animals. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There are 14 beings in this little hut. When some days or a week had gone by, life in the little hut was much worse. Now, with the crying, quarreling, clucking, honking, and crowing, the goats went wild, pushing and butting everyone with his horns. The hut seemed smaller, and the children grew bigger. When the poor unfortunate man couldn't stand it another minute, he again ran to the rabbi. It is a mess. "Holy Rabbi, help me!" he screamed. "Now the goat is running wild and my life is a nightmare." How is he feeling right now? Yeah, pretty overwhelmed. Tired. Are you feeling tired? Are your parents feeling tired? Maybe. The rabbi listened and thought. At last he said, "Tell me, my poor man, is it possible that you have a cow?" Young or old, doesn't matter. "Yes, Rabbi, it's true that I have a cow," said the poor man fearfully. "Go home then," said the rabbi, "and take the cow into your hut." "Oh, no, surely not, Rabbi," cried the man. "Do it at once," said the rabbi. That is 9 people and 6 animals. 15 things. The poor unfortunate man trudged home with a heavy heart and took the cow into his hut. Is this rabbi crazy, he thought. Why do you think the rabbi is doing this? Why is he telling him to put all these animals in here? Whisper your guess into your hand. When some days or weeks had gone by, life in the hut was very much worse than before. Everyone quarreled, even the chickens. Remember, to quarrel is to fight or argue. The goat ran wild. The cow trampled everything. To trample is to run and stomp on. I hope you're not trampling, Francis. The poor man could hardly believe his misfortune. At last, when he could no longer stand it, he ran to the rabbi for help. What do you think the rabbi's going to say? "Holy Rabbi," he shrieked, "help me, save me, the end of the world has come. The cow is trampling everything. There's no room even to breathe. It's worse than a nightmare." The rabbi listened and thought, and at last he said, "Go home now, my poor unfortunate man, and let the animals out of your hut." I will, I'll do it right away," said the man. He must be relieved to get those animals out of there. The poor unfortunate man hurried home and let the cow, the goat, the 2 chickens, the goose, and the rooster out of his little hut. That night, the poor man and all his family slept peacefully. There was no crowing, no clucking, no honking. There was plenty of room to breathe. The very next day, the man ran back to the rabbi. 9 people in a house doesn't seem so crowded anymore. "Holy Rabbi," he cried, "you've made life sweet for me. With just my family in the hut, it's so quiet, so roomy, so peaceful. What a pleasure." The end. So TK and families and parents and brothers and sisters and all other friends, just remember, if you're feeling a little stuck right now, don't forget, it could always be worse. I love you. See you tomorrow.